Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Omiinka 7 and Tribe coming from Oracle Divination Network. Also, my studio is Omi's Production Studio. You can find me out on YouTube Live. And I don't know if I got a chance. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and do this at the same time. Anyway, I'd like to say hello to all my Facebook friends. You can tune in to me on Facebook as well as on YouTube. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you. And normally this would have been our study day, but we're going to turn it into a little extended celebration. Hello, Eddie Brown. How are you? Thank you for joining me. I love that wave. Once again, this topic is making room for your gift. Hello, Fran Castro. Uh-oh, what did I do there? I did something wrong. Okay, I didn't hit your wave. How are you? Once again, you can find me out on Facebook. This is live being recorded on Facebook as well as on YouTube. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you by issue you in the right hand of fellowship. This topic is on making room for your gifts. So, a lot of you know that I spent some time in Europe and I had an opportunity to tour in Europe as a gospel singer. Whether you know it or not, I love singing, I love jazz, I love blues, not only just gospel singing, but I love it all. And God has made room for my gifts. Believe it or not, I was just a young girl with humble beginnings there in Gary, Indiana, when my other 10 sisters and I, we used to sing all up and down 11th Avenue as well as 12th Avenue, bringing the gospel and the good news. It was a sight to see when you can see 11 girls going on stage with their tambourines and just bringing the house down. We sang for Mother Mitchell, and Mother Mitchell was a spiritualist. And at that time, I didn't know we were practicing spiritualism, but later on I realized that we were spiritualists. I later on got baptized as Baptist, but I was a spiritualist as a little girl growing up. What I like to tell you is that don't ever despise small things. Just the preparation of singing on Sunday morning and going to concerts and chicken dinners and being in talent shows with Nadine Jeffers. She and I would oftentimes get into talent shows. And we thought that this was just fun. We thought that this is what everybody in Gary, Indiana did. They sang in their off time. And we constantly went to dances. So we were always around music. So we were making room for our gift. Little did I know that preparation was helping me to become a real contract holder. Without the effort, I had did all the work earlier when I was in Gary, Indiana. So by the time I got to Europe, the work had already been done. The foundation had already been laid. And I was very fortunate and blessed because at that particular time, Bob DeWitt Jackson, he opened a door for me. Little did I know that you had to be hungry in order to be a solo artist. And at the time, I figured there was just too many solo artists out there. What would they do with another one like myself? Nevertheless, as I went to go and apply for a job as an adjunct professor to teach school, Bob DeWitt Jackson was a professor. And I guess he had heard me talk. I didn't know him at the time. And he actually heard me speak and he asked me if I could sing. And he said, "I'm sure you can sing." And I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "We're having an audition and we're recruiting for another solo artist to join our group." I had no idea who this man was, nor his organization. And then as I looked around, I began to see billboards and advertisements up of his singing group that he referenced to, the Jackson Singers. I said, well, what would the Jackson Singers be over here for? Michael Jackson's back in Gary. He said, no, we're gospel, traditional gospel singer. I said, oh, really? And I said, well, I know a lot about traditional gospel singing. I sing all the time, and my sisters and I, we just sing for chicken dinners every time there's the opportunity. He said, well, would you like to audition today for a spot in our group? I thought the man was kidding. And I said, oh, really? He said, well, if you come back today at 4 o'clock, we would love to have you audition. And if you do well, we can offer you something that might give you a job so you won't have to teach school at night. Now, I was very hungry at that time. In order to be able to go after your dream, you have to be very hungry. I was very hungry at that time because I was getting that second job to supplement our income because they hadn't given my husband a job yet. And I wanted that extra income so we could have money to travel. So I went home and told my husband I was going to be auditioning for the Jackson Singers. He said, oh, really? And he says, oh, okay. So he didn't think anything of it. And I got all dressed and I went back over to the university because out in the vestibule, they were having this audition. And there were many do. So finally, Bob beckoned for me to come up. He says, come on up, Sherelle, come on up. We want to hear what you got to sing. And at that time, I had been practicing with a young man from Gary, Indiana. Let's think of his name. He actually had given me voice lessons, and he had worked with me with a number of different churches, and he had actually came and did workshops for our church. And Kenneth, his name was Kenneth Wright, and Kenneth had taught me how to do the breathing. And one of the songs that Kenneth was working on that he was going to go Australia and do was Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. And I had memorized the song from hearing him practice it so many times. It was done in a different version. So when I went out to get on the stage to sing, I thought I would sing this song. And never had I sang it before, except for just mimicking it when we went into rehearsals with Kenneth. So I sang, swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home, sweet low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Well, I looked over into yonder, and what did I see? Lord, it was a band of angels coming up after me, coming for to carry me home. Why don't you swing no chariot, stop and let me ride? I've got a home on the other side. There's no place I'd rather be than in the arms of the eternity. Why don't you swing no chariot, stop and let me ride? Swing no chariot, stop and let me ride. I've got a home, yes, I've got a home. I've got a home over on the other side. And when I sang that song, and I could look at Bob's eyes and see that he was pretty excited because they were singing traditional songs and not secular songs. And that was jazzed up like a little secular gospel. So he beckoned for me to come up to the front and come over to the table. And then he said, well, have you ever received a contract before? I said, no. He said, well, we offer lifetime contracts in this organization. And I'd like to offer you a lifetime contract While you're here in Germany, as long as you stay here, you have a lifetime contract with us. I almost fainted. I said, I have a lifetime contract. He said, yes. So God was making room for my gifts. At that time, when I thanked him, I told him that God had to have sent him, that it had to be my time now, because I have been singing all my life, traveling with the orchestra at Tolleson High School, playing the clarinet, and my sister played the violin, and we traveled with the orchestra all over Gary. All of that traveling finally paid off. When I called my family and told them that I was going to be on television and that we were going to go to Berlin, behind the Berlin walls, and I had no idea that I was going to meet Mrs. Joan Faulkner, who actually had her own satire, and she was from Gary, Indiana. They made sure that I had a special session with Joan because she wanted to meet me because I was her homegirl coming from Gary, Indiana. Now, we all had a chance to be on something called Bandstand, and later on while we were in Berlin, we were asked to do the backup with LaBouche and with Joan Faulkner in a dedication to Princess Diana on national German television. And boy, was I excited. We were touring there in Berlin, going behind the Berlin walls. God had truly made room for my gifts. All the work and the time I had put in while singing at Tolleson High School really paid off. So I want to say that you have to make room for your gifts. Some of us suppress our gifts, some of us don't develop our gifts, and some of us go along the way as if we're never going to make it. I wasn't even attempting to make it while there in Germany, but I knew a lot of people came there and did well in music. However, I became an instant star. They were already stars. So our pictures were up on the billboard. We were traveling throughout the military concern, singing for the military soldiers. I was getting gigs on the sideline to come in and sing for the soldiers, to do Kwanzaa shows. We were instant entertainers. A lot of them were actors. They performed on stage. They had all kinds of gigs, and we did backups for other singing groups. We did weddings and going to the chapel and gonna get married. Going to the chapel landing of love. We did stuff like that, and it was fun because I was under the impression that I would do that even if I wasn't being paid. But just the thought that I was being paid and handed my paycheck regularly on a weekly basis, and royalties that were coming in as frequently after we cut our first CD. We went into the studio to cut our first CD. I was so brand new that a lot of the other singers thought, well, we won't give her any lead songs to sing. But Bob wanted me to sing This Little Light of Mine. And he said, go ahead and practice it. We're going to have you sing it. And because some of the seasoned people thought, oh, we should do all the lead singing, I didn't argue with them. I said, I'm just glad to be here. And when I got ready to do This Little Light of Mine, one of the top-notch singers who was an African singer, we had African people in our group. We had people from all parts of Africa, Ghana, Kenya. And so she wanted to do This Little Light of Mine, but I had gotten up and practiced it, and she heard me singing, and she got kind of jealous, and she was like, well, why should she be singing that song? She's brand new. But I sang that in rehearsal. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, you see, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Will I hide it under bucket? No. You see, I'm gonna let it shine. Will I hide it under bucket? No. You see, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under bucket? No. You see, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All of God's children got a light. You see, they ought to let it shine. Oh, all of God's children got a light. You see, they ought to let it shine. All of God's children got a light. They ought to let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, you see, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. So anyway, my song was stolen, and she sang the song. And I was just as happy as a lark anyway. We got to go on bandstand and dance with the German youth. We had a chance to be serenaded. And then we went on stage with Joan Faulkner and LaBouche. And you can go out on the internet and you can look up the videotape, and we sang Candle in the Wind. And that videotape, we're on that stage as backup. And it was interesting because Germans love African American singing. I could have stayed there and made a profession out of it after I finished my tour with the military. And I could have made a good living at it because looking at 800 marks, that was about $400. And well, marks were more, they were 2 to 1. So that was about $400 of American money. And not to mention all the other gigs you got in between, because we were stars. Everybody wanted the Jackson to come sing. And you can Google the Jacksons now and see all of the touring that they continue to do. Videotaping wasn't out as popular then, so they didn't do a whole lot of videotaping when I was there, but afterwards they began to do a lot of videotaping. And one of Bob's nephews is in Indianapolis, and he's been talking about getting the group back together and reinactivating the Jackson Singers. He likes a lot of jazz. I like a lot of traditional gospel is fine, but I came from a traditional background in singing gospel, so I wanted to add that into the blues and jazz it up. But what I want to say to you guys is you got to be hungry. When that time comes for you to perform your gifts, you've got to make sure that you're ready and that you're eager enough to go out there on stage. And there's a lot of singers that I have had a chance to minister to and to talk to on my Blog Talk Radio show. I've invited them on. Some of them are producers. Some of them have their own production show. And I've invited them on to talk to them about going to Europe for your opportunities, because there are not as many opportunities here in the United States as there is in Europe. There's a lot of opportunities in Europe. I've even performed on the Party radio station where I wrote my first collection of poems and got an opportunity to become an international poet. While I was there on Mother's Day, they featured me on the Party radio station. And they are eager to bring Black African Americans on to do dinner shows. I got a chance to do dinner shows in hotels, and they had a lot of their traditional songs, which I really didn't know a lot of their traditional songs, but I had to, beef my skills up and learn how to sing some of the songs that they wanted to hear in their hotels. And they would cover your whole week, and bring your family there, and you would get a stipend as well as all your meals and everything paid for. Those are some interesting times because I got a chance to go on tour. The whole time I was in Germany, it was a chance to be on tour and to travel. So it was like being on a vacation. But I was hungry enough to be ready, even though I was working a full-time job, worn out from doing about 40 hours, well, 50 hours a week most of the time. I still was able to take my Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and go out on the road. And sometimes I even took my family with me on the road as well. And when I had two kids to do it at the same time, I would bring my son in, my oldest son, and I said, well, you're going to have to take mother's place because I can't be on that stage, and you're going to put a robe on, and you have to go out there and sing. So they were going to be on television. I never forget that. So he was so excited. He told all his friends he was going to be on television. They threw a party for him. So he went on stage with the other young people and sang in my place and got paid. So he got paid 800 marks. He was talking about, I'm rich, y'all. And when he got home, they showed the videotape of the show afterwards, and he was like, I think I may go into music. And little did I know that, you know, my children were watching this. I was becoming an instant star. And people would say, oh, your mother's a part of the Jackson Singers. She's a star. And they said, well, we saw her on television, or we saw her on Bandstand. And they didn't know how talented I was until they started going on tour with me and seeing how they were rolling out the red carpet. So I always say, be humble and always make sure that your gift makes room for you so that, you know, all the hard work you put in advance, then you're ready. And there's no more rehearsals. It's time to go out on stage. And all that rehearsal that I had while I was in Gary, Indiana, I knew I was ready because I was hungry enough, because I could duplicate my husband's paycheck until he got a job. So it allowed us to be able to travel and take our kids out on tours and trips. So we weren't sitting and not enjoying the aesthetics of Germany. But I said all that to say that you're looking at a humble individual, a person that came from a family of 18 children, which I was adopted by my sister, and never had a chance to meet my mother, but my mother's sisters all had a hand in raising me and putting their hands in my life. And they all were songsters, and they all sang. Even their brother sang. He was a prolific storyteller and a singer there in Gary, Indiana. So sometimes these things are passed down to you through the lineage. And music is a kind of thing where you can just put so much money into music and so much time, and then things don't go like you anticipated. I can remember going to some talent shows and then getting there to find that the equipment didn't work. And here I was standing there, no microphone, and I'm ready to sing Lauryn Hill. 1, 1, 1, you're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You be like heaven to touch. I wanna love you so much. And I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. Pardon the way that I stare. The sight of you leaves me weak, and there are no words left to speak. And if you feel like I feel, please let me know this is real. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. And I love you, baby. And if it's quite alright, I need you, baby, to warm my lonely nights. Trust in me, baby. Trust in me when I say it's alright. Oh, pretty baby, don't let me down, I pray. Oh, pretty baby, now that I found you, stay and let me love you. Oh, baby, let me love you. And I can recall some of the soldiers who were trying to get their game up. They were trying to get me to cross over into a little bit of jazz and a little bit of blues, where they prepared some songs and regrafted Anita Baker. And I ended up getting a gig to open for MC Lyte. And boy, was I afraid, because I knew MC Lyte was going to come out there popping. So I had practiced real hard for about 3 or 4 months on this Anita Baker song. And I can remember saying, well, what if MC Lyte doesn't show up? And then how am I going to carry the show on? And they said, just do your song and don't worry about don't worry about MC Lyte showing up. And anyway, I got out on stage, I did my song, and I was looking around the room because the song was coming to an end, and I wanted to make sure they was going to bring MC Lyte on because I didn't have another song to do. So MC Lyte did not show up, but I guess they took my recording and played it, for the next song, and people just started dancing off the music. But MC Lyte ended up showing up at the after party. So we all went to the after party, and there MC Lyte was. And I said, MC Lyte, you didn't show up. And she said, well, I missed my plane or something. But I got to meet her. I spent the whole evening with her, and my son was just getting autographs and smiling and shaking her hand and giving high fives. And, I can't begin to tell you all the stars that we had met. He had met Michael Jackson while we were there on tour. And there were so many entertainers that came there. And Joan Faulkner was a household name. She's still in Germany, and she's considered as one of the top-notch blues singers. She's got her own sitar, and she's doing great. She is rolling in the dough. And she said, if you ever need me or want to come back and do something, please let me know. So I made some friends there and connected with the right types of people that helped me to do my glass master when I did my poetry audio. So I went on writing because I was really interested in writing and getting my written work out there. And I didn't know how to translate it over into music and how to put the music to it. So I ended up writing a poetry book and being published in an anthology. And then I went on to publish my 36 poems on audio. And some of the facilities opened up and allowed me to come in and do my debut and my ribbon ceremony. And I passed out a lot of my CDs, my demos that I had with Lady Day as the opening, but most of it was spoken word because I was really into spoken word. And I was about 48 years old when all this happened to me. So I want to say to you that you don't have to be very young to start off your career. And your time and your ship is not going to sail away. Sometimes it feels like my ship has gone and sailed away. Every now and then it feels like my ship has gone and sailed away. But I've got to be strong, gotta hold on, it won't be too long. Out there on the ocean, just beyond the horizon, I know my ship is coming in, but don't leave me waiting too long, for my ship has finally come. Out here on the ocean, just past the horizon, I know my ship is coming in, but don't leave me waiting. Anyway, what I'm saying is that you don't have to be a spring chicken to get into the industry, and you can get in after you've gotten a little bit older. I'm having a little problem with this plug here. You can get in after you have reached your rightful old age of your 40s. I was 48 when all of this started happening for me. Now, most people would have given up and said, that's it, I'm never gonna sing, it's never gonna happen to me. But see, Lady Sing the Blues was my favorite. And Anita Baker. So I knew I was gonna be on somebody's stage. I just knew it because I was ready at any given time. I used to carry my cassette tapes with me for my instrumental. So if ever someone said, well, could you sing a song? I pull out my instrumental and I said, well, do you have a tape recorder? And then I had my backup. And a lot of people are not ready like that. A lot of people say, well, I'm not going to carry around my cassette tapes. I'm just going to, if I can't get a band, sometimes you have to even do it a cappella. And you cannot be all stuck up saying you got to have this and have that. Because it can be in the difference between you getting a contract and not. But for a lot of people, at the age of 48, they would have long given up and said, that's it for me. I'm all washed up. But my youngest son has so much faith in me. And sometimes people in your family will have more faith in you than you do. When I went to do my glass master of my spoken word, after we had spent many nights up recording these individual, well, this 36 line poetry, I took it in to have it glass mastered and for it to be prepped and put into a case. And the gentleman, I wasn't sure of this gentleman that did the work. I didn't know him at all, but someone said he was okay. So when I took my work there, and he said, well, you can come back and pick it up later. I wanted to stay. He said, oh, no. This is just too long. Come back and pick it up later. So when I got ready to come back and pick it up, my son and I, he knew I had my son with me. So when I came back to pick it up, he said, well, weren't you just here a few minutes ago? I said, what do you mean? He said, a lady and her little boy came here and they picked up the tapes already. I said, they picked up the tapes already? And he swore up and down that I had been there already and had picked up the tapes. And I started crying and I said, I can't believe this. All the money and work I put into these CDs and Glassmaster. And I really could have went on and said some real mean things, but I said, no, I'm not, because I'm in these people's country. They could do anything to me. I'm on the German economy. So my son knew I was so crushed and just so hurt because I didn't think I had a backup. Because as we were recording, I don't remember doing a backup or an extra recording. He said, Mom, don't worry. He said, I always do a backup when you do your recordings. I got everything at home on the hard drive. I said, you gotta be kidding me. He says, yes, Mom. I put it on the hard drive. Every time you recorded, I made sure I recorded and turned the recorder on. I said, oh, baby. I said, thank you so much. And he was there every step of the way. And God has sent some angels to me. A lot of stuff I didn't know how to do. I didn't know how to, dub the CDs. And I wasn't sure. I didn't know I had to have a profile and an image and branding. And one of the little soldiers said, after we went for that particular spoken word show and the machine stopped working, he said, look, I tell you what, I'm gonna create you a brand and do your logo for you, and I'm gonna take your picture and I'm gonna use it to make your CD case, your jewel case. He went home and made me the beautifulest logo, and he actually made a beautiful jewel case with my picture in it so I could look professional. He said, Mama, now you can look professional when you're out here, and you don't have to give your stuff away. You've given enough away, so start selling it. So anyway, I was being taught by youngsters about what to do in the profession. And my youngest son stayed with me all the way on my side. And to this day, he loves music and he loves entertaining. And I often wonder, I was like, it's a chip off the old block. He picked everything up while I was in entertainment business. And I couldn't say anything to him about wanting to be in a group because it was a chip off the old block, because children live what they see. But nevertheless, I'm saying to you, you might be reaching 40 or 50 and your ship hasn't come yet. And you think it's finally sailed away. Not necessarily. If you put time in that gig and performing, I don't care if you put time in when you was a young child. And if that's your desire, and if that is your mission in life, is to sing to the glory of God, God will find a way to put you in where you fit in. And he will find a way for you to use your vocal cords if that's your desire. I am almost 66 years old. I'm still using my vocal cords for spoken word, radio, all of that. God will preserve you. He will prepare you for what it is you were called here to do. But it's very vital that you should understand that you can't go through life thinking that everything has to come to you easy. Some things come through trial and error. And I know this because even while I was there in Germany, God sent a lot of angels to assist me, a lot of angels to come and help me, because some things I just didn't know how to do. And at my age, I figured that I was all washed up and it was too late for me. But I had beauticians calling me to do my hair and to be my beautician once I got I got with the group and was on tour, and then they created these hairstyles for me. You would have never dreamed that it was me. One of the pictures that I have out on the Facebook, where I had my hands up with this long hair, it took about 2 days for her to do my hair. But nevertheless, I was going on TV, so I had to look the part. And I had to have a set of demos, and I had to have a portfolio. And my portfolio was banging. I looked 3 to 4 years younger than some of the other people, and I had stamina. So when you go in the industry, you have to have stamina. And you can't age rapidly, and your age can't show because they're looking to see you perform. Now, as quiet as it's being kept, I did manage to put together a salad gig with my profile and some samples of my work under the salad gig. You wouldn't believe it, folks, but I've gotten almost 20 offers to come in to perform just with them hearing me do storytelling for children. They've asked me to come in and do African entries for the children. And they've asked me to do drumming and bring in the drummers and all sorts of things. And I've had to decline because I have been in the move, in a transition move. And I said, once I get settled, then I will. But you have to have an entourage. You have to have a dance group and a dance team. And I don't have any of my backup people anymore. I used to have a group of women that were open with their dancing for me. And literally, you need those types of layers so that when you are getting the rest of the group together, your dancers can go out and get the show going. So right now, I'm looking to get a couple of dancers so we could have entrance and drumming. I'm a drummer, a percussionist, a djembe drum. So they all are asking about bringing the drums in. I left all my drums over in Europe, so I got to repurchase those. So I got to get my act together. But nevertheless, I love doing the dancing and the music for small parties. And when we were in Europe, that's what we did a lot of. We did personalized parties and invites for specialized parties. And those can be fun, a lot of fun. But once again, making gifts, making room for your gifts. You have to practice. You have to constantly be using your vocal cords. So that's why you hear me doing a lot of singing, because I know I don't get it in when I should, and I don't have my technician who actually does the breath treatments where they teach you how to breathe and when to accentuate on a note. But nevertheless, music is wide open. I'm not talking about the hip hop stuff, because I like some hip hop music and some of it that tells a story. I'm not against the young people, but I know we got to get some better lyrics and really talk about stuff that really matters. But there's a great opportunity in Europe that's wide open for those who really want to make it. And it's not that difficult to go there and to get on somebody's ticket where you're either singing in the hotels and you're performing throughout the week for weddings, or you actually are involved in playwrights. A lot of people were involved in playwrights, but being on stage is very hard. It's very physical and wear and tear on the body. And when you are asked to get on stage to perform, you've got to have your energy frequency high, because you get on stage to elevate the people. Your frequency gets the people moving. And for a person like myself with high energy, and you get out there, you have to know how to pace that energy out, because you can wear yourself out in the first 2 or 3 sets. But nevertheless, Black people's energy lifts up people who have a low spirit. And in Europe, a lot of people, they looked at church as going to concerts, because most of their churches were closed down. But there are a lot of Germans that will help open up doors for you for recording. They had so many recording studios there that you can go in to record. And everybody was in the music. Everybody was trying to break into the field. And some of these old traditional gospel singers were still on the billboards doing great. And all of us girls that performed, we were lovely, and they loved seeing us, because we always had our hair up in a tizzy and really sharp with diamonds on and stuff like that. So we looked first class. And it was an honor to be a part of that group. I grew a lot, and I was so fortunate that God had chosen me, just an insignificant young girl who came from Gary, Indiana, and basically sang locally as a local talent show singer, had the opportunity to flex my vocal cords there in Europe. And I was going there to teach school, but God had intended for me to do something greater. And it was prophesied before I went that I was going to do something greater. Just the honor of singing in a dedication to Princess Diana just really made me become so humble. And every time I think about that opportunity to be able to sing before someone as graceful as Miss Diana, I want to say also that we have many gifts, and sometimes it's not just one gift of singing. It's the gift of orator. It could be a number of different gifts of dancing. As you notice, Michael Jackson was a dancer. Everybody in Gary was always into dancing, and we were fortunate with us 11 girls. We went out dancing every week. So we were sharp on our feet and knew the dance moves. I still dance a lot now. And being in Gary was just one of those extracurricular activities that you also performed in talent shows. And singing was a big thing in Gary, Indiana. So I treasure my childhood upbringing, from being involved in music and using the gift, and knowing that when you got the opportunity, you cannot cow down and, he and how. You got to get on stage and give it the best you got. And that's why I'm saying that some of the people here should be a lot farther than what they are. I was just an insignificant young girl who happened to have loved music and who did a lot of singing in high school. So it paid off. And a lot of people, when I came home with the CD, and they were like, "You gotta be kidding. You had a contract." And they were paying me every time someone bought the CD. And guess what? The monies that we now get goes to Mother Teresa's Foundation. All of our proceeds from that show that we did on television with the dedication to Princess Diana. I read where the proceeds were going, and I said, I can't believe this. I'll be the new Mother Teresa. They got money going to Mother Teresa. I said, that's crazy. I said, they could send me that money, but the deal is you have to stay there in Germany to be eligible for it. So a lot of those people that came from different parts like Detroit, New York, after they got with that group, they never left the group and they did things on the sideline. So they always were getting their royalties because they produced many, many CDs with them. And I had just came in at a time when they were getting ready to go into the studio, and that was a blessing. So I feel honored and humble. And I'm saying to each of you that you got to count your blessings. And those who know you have a gift and God has chosen you, you definitely have got to use your voice for more than just monetary gains. I wasn't looking at it like that as monetary gains because I had a job. So it became excess for me to actually supplement my husband until he found employment there in Germany. So it was a blessing. And it also gave me some stamina there where we could go out on weekend trips with the group. And it gave us a family that we could network with. So when you go into a strange land like that, you always want to have a networking group of people, and they became our family. So literally, we did a lot of things together, and we went out together on Saturday night, did birthdays together, and when we appeared in some of the restaurants, we got on stage, and I would do Lady Day. I would get on stage. Someday he'll come along, the man that I love, and he'll be big and strong, the man that I love. And then I'll look at him and say, I'll do my best to make you stay. Maybe he'll come one day, maybe Tuesday, maybe not. Still I know he'll come one day, maybe today, maybe not. And in a little while, we'll build a nest for two. Tell me who would ever roam? Oh, darling, why would you? Until then, I'll be dreaming of the man that I love. And we would get on stage and do Billie Holiday. And let's see, sometimes we would do Nita Baker. Ba-da-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Ba-da-doo-doo-doo-doo. Ba-da-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Ba-da-doo-doo-doo-doo. On my mind constantly, in my heart is where you should be. You let my love now free, baby. You let my love go free. And I want you in my life for all times. Caught up in the magic of you. The feeling's always brand new when I feel the magic for you. Ba-da-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Ba-da-doo-doo-doo-doo. Ba-da-doo-doo-doo-doo. Ba-da-doo-doo-doo. We did all kinds of songs, and sometimes we would come and they said, don't worry about paying for your food. You guys are going to sing tonight. And we would be up all night singing and, celebrating, because we had interviews and we had press interviews, and we would have private sets where we would go and speak to the press. And it was amazing how God did that thing. He made me an instant star without even trying. And I sometimes wonder about that, and my soul looks back and wonder. My soul looks back and wonder how I got over. As soon as I see Jesus, the man that set me free, you know he bled and he suffered and he died for you and for me. I'm gonna walk me some streets of gold into that new Jerusalem, and my soul will look back and wonder, and my soul will look back and wonder how I got over, how I got over, how I got over. And my soul will look back and wonder, and my soul will look back and wonder how I got over. And we would go from gospel to secular. But what I want to tell you is that there's a lot of you here in this room today that are solo artists and have the gift, but you got to be a full package. And I was always told that you got to be a full package. And there's a lot of people that get arrogant with their gifts, and it disallows them to present themselves as a full package. Because when you are singing to an audience, sometimes you don't realize it, but you're healing them, and you're sending your vibrations out to women and children. And we had people come in wheelchairs and they thought we were healers. They wanted us to touch them, to hold their babies. And if it's in the mind of the beholder, then it's so. If they believe you can send your energy to heal them, then you can. So we would get packed houses, and they would come up on stage, and we would one by one pick up the babies and hug them and caress them. And sometimes when you're performing in the sweat that you produce, it becomes anointing, and anointing comes upon you. And while you're carrying this anointing, you can heal. You can change lives. So it becomes a job at one point, because you're there to pray over those young people and touch those babies and minister to them in song. So you never know whose lives you're changing. So music is an art of labor. It's like a two-edged sword. Sometimes you don't want to do it anymore because it's tiresome. I mean, it drags you down. You got to be in the right spirit. And then there's those days where you want to just be on stage and sing all day. So it's either hot or cold. But when it's time for you to go on stage, it's a job. And you have to look at it like that. Because while we were touring so frequently that one of our members got sick. And he had gone to the doctor to get a flu shot. And he kept complaining about this flu shot and how it had him worse than what he was. So we weren't so sure if he should travel with us, but he said he'd be okay. So we all gathered around him and prayed for him, and he got on the bus. When he got on the bus, he had a terrible fever. And he said when he got to the hotel, he was going to go and lay down. He went and laid down, and that was the last time we seen him. And he didn't get back up. And he died while we was on tour. And we were just broken. We couldn't do any more of the show. We were just torn apart. We had to call his family in, and we just went into mourning. The church is in mourning, y'all. The church is in mourning, y'all. I love the Lord, 'cause he heard. I said he heard my cry. I love the Lord, because he heard my cry and pitied my every groan. And we were in mourning. Oh Lord, it took us about 6 or 7 months to get over that. He was one of our African brothers who sang beautifully, and his children were torn apart. He was just tired being on the road and having his resistance to break down. It's amazing what the body can do, and when you don't know how to tell it to sit down, most artists have to go into hiding and get rest and get sabbatical. And those hotels are meant for you to go and get rest, not, to go shopping, but to really get rest. So they did put us up a lot in hotels and give us a chance to get that sabbatical and rest that we needed. And it was a gorgeous, gorgeous opportunity. I mean, that made my job teaching school even more better, to know that I had to look forward to traveling from different city to different city and to be performing with these great, outstanding artists. And me being the novice and probably I had been singing a long time, but professionally it was, the beginning for me. But nevertheless, I want to say to those people who have the opportunity to get into singing and to perform, and don't despise small things, because sometimes people are going to ask you just to come and perform for Women's Day, and all they can give you is a love offering. I often tell the people that are in my hometown, just give me a love offering. Whatever you can bring will be fine. I'll bring the word, and I'll also bring the music. And you feel delighted to be able to go to your hometown to be able to bring the word and the music, because you want to give something back to your community. But it's a whole package, like I told you. If you don't have the right attitude, you have no business on the stage and around people. If you're arrogant and think it's all about you, you have no business in the profession either. It's a humbling experience, and being humbling will definitely allow you to perform well on stage, in season and out of season. And I do a lot of watching different styles. I really enjoy watching Sarah Vaughan, and I really enjoy watching Nina Simone. And that's why I've declared December 29th, the whole week really, as Nina Simone's week. And I said I was going to do a recording with Nina Simone's music, and I'm still picking out some of the songs that I want to do. But Nina Simone taught me one thing about stage appearance. She indicated in order for her to go on stage, she had to put the people under a trance with the figure 8. She would put them under a trance, and they would be mesmerized by her performance. And she always said, take control of your audience. And usually when you're singing amongst white people and they know the song, they know the lyrics to the words, they will stick with you more so than your own African brothers and sisters, because they know the words to these traditional songs and they come there. So we take them to church. We say, let's go to church, y'all. And we do the holiness dance and we carry on. And that's one thing I do miss about the traditional church, is that it was no shame and no harm in doing the holiness dance to get your inhibition off of you. So when you left there, your problems were left there as well. So let me take roll call and see who's all in here with me today. Let me see who the brothers and sisters is. Oh my God. Eddie Brown, how you doing, Eddie? Francis Castro, Larry Lowe. Can I get low, 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 low? Okay, I'm just playing. Hello, Vivian. And hello, let's see who this is. Oh, okay. Mrs. Poser and Ivory, Stevie. How you doing, Stevie? Donald, Donnie, Jackie, Kimisha, Bonita, Darius English, Carmen, Davis Banks, Jeffrey, and Jeffrey Kane. Thank you so much for coming in and joining me this evening. I was getting myself ready for teaching a class. I said, no, not today. I just didn't have it in me. So they'll go on without me. But nevertheless, I did want to share that with you, because you've got to be hungry when you're going into the profession of entertainment. You've got to be ready, and you got to have your best performers ready, because you never know when you have to go on stage. And sometimes they'll say, well, can you take over this show or this caravan? And I have worn many hats in the church before, and I kept my little trusty cassette tapes with me, and I would play them. I did a lot of Babby Mason concerts, and I had just gotten all Babby Mason stuff together and was ready. And one of the songs I really like is Pray On. The song that she sang was Pray On. The army of Judah was paralyzed by fear when he heard that a mighty multitude was quickly drawing near. And when he discovered that there was no deliverance and the victory would be high, and when you find yourself on your knees, then help is on the way. Pray on, for you are who the Lord's been looking for. Pray on your knees, for this is where the battle it begins. Pretty soon you'll have the victory. Pray on. Now when Daniel faced the lions for worshiping the Lord, it seems there was no hope at all. They would be in store. And when you turn on your knees, then help is on the way. Pray on, for you are who the Lord's been looking for. Pray on your knees, for this is where the battle it begins. Pretty soon you have the victory. Pray on. We sang songs like that. Babby Mason was one of my favorites because she was a school teacher who had turned artist, and she was my mentor. And I don't know if any of you guys listen to jazz, Coco Taylor, and some of the others that are out there. Let me see who else that I like. Anyway, I grew up on Aretha Franklin, and a lot of people, as they look back at their career, they'll see that if they could practice singing Aretha Franklin's song, then that would give them a head start, because her songs were so difficult to sing. And we would sing her songs, and we were not allowed to do secular, but we would hide away and sing her songs just to get ourselves, in tune for the gospel music. But Aretha Franklin's going to be greatly missed, and I really hate the people that had tried to criticize her life and some of the obstacles that she went through with her father and bearing a child out of wedlock when she was just, 13 years old, and how she actually came about having that child. People wanted to find the negative and they didn't look at all the gifts she gave us. All of those songs that she left us with, she gave of herself so she couldn't give no more. So she made up for any inadequacy that she might have gone through. She made up for it 10 times over. And she is once, twice, 2 times a lady in my book. Yes, I understand her father was loose and he was doing this and doing that, but she was a child. She had to do what her father said. But nevertheless, people tend to talk about her and her weight up and down, and how her mother left her, and she often took up for her mother and tried to keep her mother in her life, and I believe she had a very sad secret life that people didn't know about. And a lot of songsters do. They actually cover up a lot, and they go on stage and then they bare their souls when they sing. And that's why she could sing soul music, because she was singing from the heart, because she had so many misfortunes and heartbreaks. And I believe that Aretha Franklin, nobody's going to be able to take her place. Yet there's a lot of people out there talking about who's going to be the next Queen of Soul. Can't nobody take her place that's out there. No, not Beyonce. It takes a hell of a lot of soul and a lot of going throughs to be able to get on there and to do an act to repeat Aretha Franklin. A lot of them. You told me that you would leave me here, oh, until now you're gone and our words seem just like his. You left me singing a song. You're leaving, oh, it makes my heart beat slower and slower. Now you're gone and I'm all alone. You left me singing a song. Don't go away from me. Why don't you please come on back home, and we'll be together for eternity. But you told me that you will leave me here, oh, until now you're gone and our words seem just like years. You left me singing a song. Yeah, that was a real old song of Anita Baker. Most people have forgotten about that. And I know in our household, we're going to miss the Queen of Soul. And, you know, I know that a lot of people have marked her and made fun. And, you know, God doesn't like ugly, because Aretha came here to do something special, and that was to deposit music in us. And she did just what she came here to do, and her purpose was fulfilled, which is good. Now, I don't know how many singers we have out here in the audience. If we got any singers out here in the audience, put your hands up or say something and let me know you're out there. Anybody out there? Ivory, are you a singer? Stevie, I know you got to be a singer, little Stevie. Come on now, play on your harmonica for us. Anybody out there a singer? I wish we could hear y'all talk and say something. I'll put some of y'all up here on the stage. Anybody out there? Now, I would like to say that I like hip-hop to the point where I've had some favorite stars that were my mentor, like Lauryn Hill. Everybody knows that Lauryn Hill is my mentor. I was torn and confused. I felt wasted and used. I had reached a crossroad with path and I choose. I was stuck and frustrated. I waited, debated for something that happened that just wouldn't jade it. I thought what I wanted was something I needed. When mama said no, then I just should have. National anthem, and Mary J. Blige brought the national anthems, and she was also one of my favorites, or still is my favorite. And I think when they took Lauryn Hill off to sing, she was moving up to be another Aretha Franklin, and somebody had to stop her. But it just never was the same when she came back afterwards. And I tried to keep up with her underground music. And one song she did was The Lion of Judah. Oh, he shall break every chain. The Lion of Judah. Oh, he shall break every chain. Why don't you give him the victory? Oh, again and again, the Lion of Judah. Oh, he shall break every chain, every chain. Why don't you give him the victory? Oh, again and again. When she sang that song, she was taking us to church. So Lauryn Hill could take you to church even with her secular music. And I know a lot of you guys love her out there. She was during the time when music was really good. She was really doing the doggone thing, and somebody had to take her off the scene. But nevertheless, I know that she's been working with her young family, and I see her girls singing, and I see her mentoring them and getting them on stage, and I'm hoping that that'll happen. But is there any singers out there again? I don't hear anybody say anything. Stevie, you're not gonna sing your number for me? Let me do a roll call here. Jeff Keynes, how are you? Jeff Houston, Eileen Davis Banks, Carmen, let's see here, Darius, Bonita, Kamisha, Jackie, Donnie, Donald, Ivy, Stevie, Ivory, Ishman, Vivian, Larry, low. I like doing that. France Castro, Eddie Brown. Thank you so much. And I'm not going to bore you with all my singing tonight, but I thought I'd come on and tell how I entered into the music industry and to let you know I'm still striving in the background. And I'm going to be doing short sessions for storytelling and birthday parties. And now that they're asking me to have a complete show for an African interest, I have to put something together for that. I used to do African drumming and performing on stage, but I don't have my drums, so I had to turn down a lot of gigs, but I'm still getting in practice, and hopefully if I can keep my voice up, then I can still do some of those parties and honor some of those requests. And I want to thank each and every one of you for listening to my story, and you are definitely good friends. Now I want you to go out and do more than just be a friend. I want you to follow me. Go out, if you haven't already followed me, go out and sign up to follow me, because that way I can take you places. I can't take you places if you're not hooked up. Now, if you can walk with me today, then I'll let you run with me later. When we blow up and this tribe blows up to a nation, then you can run with me then. So it's very vital that we have followers so that we can take this to another level. Because I did tell some of you that we want to go into the room where we have a private setting and I have a communal call on Shoe Talk, and that way you can actually take the mic and talk. And I went back to Shoe Talk to do that, and Shoe Talk has changed their whole program around. Now I got to figure out how to get you guys on there. This technology keeps moving so fast, and women like me got to stay woke. We got to stay woke so we can keep up with all of this music and everything. Right, Eddie? Right, Eddie Brown? Right, Fran Costello? And right, Larry? Vivian? Ivory and Ebony. Stevie is in here. Hi, Stevie. Is there two Ivories? Let's see. Yeah, there is. There's an Ivy Ishman, and there's an Ivory. Let's see. Oh, that's the same person. Oh, okay. I see. You're in two different places. You're invisible now, huh? How you doing, Donald Luckett? And Donnie Carter, Kamisha Mosley, Darius English, Carmen Parker, Aline Davis, Jeff Houston, Jeff Kane. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. And do you guys know any jokes, any tricks? Y'all want to stand on your head tonight? If you want to do that, you can do that too. Somebody want to tap a little bit, tell a joke. Anybody got any jokes? Oh, Lord. Let me get off there. I'm getting slap happy. So thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you soon. Go out and sign up under Omi's, who am I on this one? I guess Sherelle, because I actually use my stage name for everything else, Omi Inc. 8 or Omi Inc. 7. But on Facebook, I'm Omi Inc. I'm Sherelle. So go out and sign up under Sherelle Garth and be a follower, and there will be some great things to come in the future. We plan on doing some great things on here where you can interact. We used to do a lot with marriage, and we took people on a little cruise while they were online. We did weddings online, and we had them involved in doing ceremonies and everything. So I've been really behind on Facebook. I haven't done half the stuff that I used to do, but I've been on for 9 years now on my blog talk. So sometimes you get a little washed up. We really did the doggone thing for Oracle's Divination Network. And I'm going to be going back on that show, and I'm going to ask for your input on some of the things that you would like to see and hear, because you can do a lot with radio where you can actually have some call-ins and give out some gifts, and that way you can get more participating people and have an active show, a live show. So thank you, and thank you for being my friend. I wanna thank you for being my friend. Now go out and follow me. Go out and follow me. Just don't be a friend. Go out and follow me. Show me how much you love me. Follow me. Follow me. And I'll show you things. Thank you so much. You've been a great audience. Oh, double. And let's do one of, we didn't do Mary J. Blige. It's gonna be an uphill journey. It's gonna be a long, long climb. It's gonna be some tough time and lonely nights. Still I'm ready to carry on. So glad that the worst is over. See, it almost took me out. I can fly freer now. Oh, my best days are right in front of me. Yet I'm almost free. Yes, I'm almost free. You see, anything and everything that you do, you can't deny the truth, 'cause I'm the living proof. So many guys have tried, but they just couldn't make it through. But look at me, yeah, I'm the living proof. Yes, I am, you know I am. I'm the living proof. Now go and be blessed. Have a great day. And who is this coming in here at this time of the night? Michael Savage? You are late. You are late, Michael Savage. You want to get in on the end of the singing? Let's see. Let's do Mabel Staples. Let's see. What is Mabel Staples' song? Call on your brother. Okay, what is that? I know a place where ain't nobody crying, ain't no smiling faces, lying to the races. Let me take you there. I'll take you there. Let me take you there. I know a place, y'all, ain't nobody crying, smiling faces, lying to the races. Let me take you there. You gotta have all that music to get that going. So we don't have the backup music for that. Anybody other know another song we can go out here on that everybody know? And don't say James Brown. What about chain, chain, chain? Chain, 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 chain of fools. Every link has a weak link. Yeah, I don't hear y'all singing. Come on. Oh, okay. Come on, somebody think of a song we can go out here on. What y'all say? What song? Okay. Something that everybody knows. Okay, we got another person in here. Jackie Morgan. How you doing, Jackie? I must have missed you. I didn't remember seeing your name. Okay. Let me go to the top and see who's in here. Eddie Brown, Fran Castro, Larry Lowe, Vivian Poster. Who else we got here? Ivory Ishman, Stevie Hammett. Oh, I'm pronouncing it wrong. Heyman. And Donald Luckett, Donnie Carter, Jackie Morgan, Kamisha Mosley, Bonita Roster, Darius English, Carmen Parker, Elaine Davis, Jeffrey Hudson, Jeff Kane, Michael Savage. Michael Savage, I have some Savages in my family. Lisa Savage and Virgil Savage. Are you related to them? If you are, put your hand up. You said bring the camera to you. Okay. I don't know how I got add a camera. Okay, there you go. There you go. There you are. And there you are. Okay. So you added it. So do I need to do anything? Now I want you to be very partial and very kind as you go into music. Don't get the big head. Oh, please don't get the big head, because you're going to run into a lot of people that got the big head, and you don't want to bump heads with them. But definitely enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself, because it is truly a ride, and I can look back over pictures and remember, and memories are in the corners of my mind, because all you have is your memories. And when you get older, like myself, you want to take these memories with you to the grave. And you want to be on stage performing until you can't stand up no more. But music is a different type of animal. It's the kind of thing that you long for, and you cannot go without it. It's just like air, food, and water. It has to be provided, and you have to have singing in your life in order to live. At least I do. And I know that music is all of me. All of me. Why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my lips, 'cause I'll never use them. All of me. Why not take all of me? Take my heart, 'cause I'll never use it. Take my lips, I want to lose them. All of me, why not take all of me? All of me, why not take all of me? So why not take all of me? Billie Holiday did a lot of songs, and bless her heart, you know, she went through so much hardship and fighting to go to Carnegie Hall after getting clean when it was too late. And sometimes we can be too late in our careers, and by the time we come out of our foolishness, there is no room for us to perform or to even have a spot. And that's why I say remain humble and stay prayerful, because God will give you that opportunity to be out on stage but at all times remain humble and realize it is not you that causes you to have the ability to get riches. God is the one that promotes you and gives you the ability to get riches. And a lot of people, they get up on their high horses and they begin to think it's all about them. And then you see them come tumbling down like Humpty Dumpty. And you wonder, why did they fall? Pride comes before a fall. And I had to always tell myself this: I'm insignificant. I'm just a tool that God is using. So when I do go out here to perform, I got to remain humble. I can't let my head get the best of me. And I'm saying for some of the people that will go into the profession, it's going to be a lot of cruel people out there. A lot of people want to take advantage of you. A lot of people that are on trips that are doing drugs. And they perform under drugs, and they want you to go along with them on that ride. And that's how they roll all day long, doing drugs. And they stay geared up on those drugs. And it's sad, because if you can't truly be yourself while singing music, when can you be yourself? So you find a lot of people that say, well, I need this to stay woke and to stay up, and it gives me a lift. But it's all in their mind that these sedatives and stimulants are giving them a lift. And a lot of them get stuck on drugs because they claim they need an upper to get up and an upper to go to bed. So you find around the profession of music a lot of addicts, and you got to constantly keep your sword with you, the word in your mouth, and constantly pray and ask God to get thee behind me, Satan, and give you the strength so that you don't fall prey to walking together with these people, because the Bible says, how can one or two walk together unless they both agree? So that was all around the profession of gospel singing. Yes, drugs, dope, all around. But all during this time, God kept me. I thank you, God, that you kept me and you preserved me and you gave me a mind to stay on you, because it would have been too easy to have one of those weekdays to walk in there and your best buddy that you like singing with wants to offer you something, and you know in your mind he ain't giving you nothing but death. So a lot of people, they fall prey to that, and they get involved, and they don't even know how they got hooked. And you hear the confessions of some of these artists, and they'll tell you that they've been hooked before. I thank God that I never had to get hooked off of alcohol or drugs. And I thank him that I came out of this with my right sound mind. And I give him the glory for it, because it's nothing that I've done, but just to remain humble and to allow him to use me. But music is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And it's great when you can get the family together and you can do your own family concerts and you perform for the family. And oftentimes see my 10 sisters and I all performing together for the family. But I think it's just one other one that sings on a regular basis, and myself. And often I wanted them to all come and perform with me, and we just do a duet, and everybody sing together during the holiday, and to make a CD with all of us singing together. It is a clan in my family. I mean, it's a large family of 11 girls and 7 boys, and not to mention all the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren. And we oftentimes do get together for family reunions, and we get together and we do sing, and we have talent shows. And everybody thinks they're artists in my family. When you come from Gary, Indiana, everybody thinks they can sing, and they all know they can dance because they've been in talent shows and they've won some prizes. So one thing I thank God for is being able to grow up in Gary, Indiana, and having a foundation where family means a lot. And it's a lot of emphasis being put on family, and on family staying together and singing together, and not only, singing together, but suffering together. There's a lot of suffering going on in Gary, Indiana now, where a lot of people feel like they have to stay there, and they don't realize they can move and they can go other places. You can always come back to Gary. I still love Gary, but I cannot live there in the state that it's in right now. There's other places that have more to offer, but I go back there as often as I can, and getting ready for, when we get ready for our reunion and those kind of things. And some of us get together and we sing. I still get a chance to see my old friend Nadine, and Nadine and I used to get up and strike a tune at the high school all the time, and sometimes we performed in talent shows, and I've been friends with her ever since junior high. We have long-term friends there in Gary, Indiana. They go all the way back to elementary school. So these people we've been knowing for a long, long time. So even if you moved away, you have to come back home sometime. And when you come back home, always acknowledge and respect the home and give it homage, because that's where you got your foundation from. I mean, I don't care how many other places you live, you have got to name where you got your foundation. And I always tell people, I'm a Gary, Indiana young lady. I'm backwater Geechee girl, and I'm proud of it. So when I went to Germany, it was the first thing that came out of my mouth that I was from Gary, Indiana. And I lucked out and met somebody that was the Queen of Soul over in Europe from Gary, Indiana. And you can go so far and still meet somebody from Gary, Indiana. Now, I'm going to get off this show for real now, because I'm talking in circles now. It's time for me to get off this show. But let me give everyone a shout out. Michael Savage, we'll see you soon. Jeff Kane, Jeff Houston, we'll see you soon. Elaine Davis, we'll see you. Carmen Parker, we'll see you. Darius English, Bonita, Kamisha Mosley, Jackie Morgan, Donnie Carter, Donald Luckett, Ivory Ishman, Stevie Hyman. Okay, let's see who else is here. Okay, I think I got everybody. And you guys have a blessed week. And don't forget to go and follow the leader. Follow Sherelle Garth and be a part of our team, so we can team up and we can get this thing popping and going and helping you to live out your destiny. What is your destiny? Have you found your destiny? Find your purpose and be on purpose. If it's singing, get on with it. Time is almost over and you still haven't got on that stage yet. I don't care if you're 40 years old, 50 years old, you can still get on that stage, because it's in you to sing. All you have to do is say, Mama, I'm fixing to sing. And get at it, girl. Get at it. And I mean get at it, brothers. All right. Take care. Odavo, Baba Booey to you, y'all. See you soon. Let's give them something to talk about. Let's give them something to talk about. Black girls rock, black girls rock. Okay, let's see here. We gotta finish up. All right. Now, we're going to finish up. And we've been doing a lot of talking today, and we've been talking about music. And I want you to know that I am a solo artist and have been for many, many years. I sang over in Europe, and I also sang with my sisters in Gary, Indiana. We performed in talent shows. It was 11 of us, and we also toured with Mr. Jackson. It seemed like there's been Jacksons in my life for a while now. I sang with Mr. Jackson, who was our music teacher and who directed us, and we went around with the orchestra and sing, and it paid off for me. It gave me an opportunity to go on into singing as a professional and getting royalties and cutting the CD while going behind the walls of the Berlin Wall. And as I told you, the Germans were gracious to us. They were not the same people that you would suspect as Hitler. Some of the Germans went through a lot that Hitler took them through. But nevertheless, they made the way for us Black people there in Germany to sing and to perform. So I had the time of my life while on tour, singing there and cutting the CD and being able to receive royalties. It was my first contract, and I went first class all the way with Bob DeWitt Jackson, or Robert DeWitt Jackson, who was my manager and who led us and taught us all about the music industry for gospel singers. Most of us did sing secular music. We didn't just do traditional gospel. We did that as a performance, and we were on elegant stages and performing. But for me, it was great to be able to sing the blues and sing jazz, because when I was growing up, I wasn't allowed to sing the blues and jazz. So as I got older and could make decisions for myself, I started singing the blues and the jazz. And Anita Baker was one of my favorites. And one of the songs that I sang, and I dedicated this to my husband, was one of Anita Baker's songs. I look back on all those good times we once shared. Well, I must have been blind just to think I'd find one who loved me better than you. Well, it may sound kind of strange, but loneliness has opened my eyes. I tried every word I could find. Still I can't get you out of my mind. 'Cause there's no one in the world to hold me. No one in the world's gonna love me. No one in the world's gonna love me like you do, baby. Every time I'm with someone, loving you, yet I wanna run. I wanna feel you in my arms again and give you what you need, and give you what you need. Are you happy now in your life? Well, for me, I'm breaking inside, so self-assured that I could not see. I once had it all when you were with me, baby. No one in the world's gonna love me. No one in the world's gonna need me. No one in the world's gonna love me like you do, baby. Every time I'm with someone, loving you, yet I wanna run. I wanna feel you in my arms again and give you what you need, and give you what you need. And Nita Baker was so visible in my life with the songs that she sang, and I was really learning the style of Sarah Vaughan, because Nita Baker was a little Sarah Vaughan mixed together. And there was this one song that was rearranged for me to do that Anita Baker did, and for some reason it's escaping me now. And all evening I've been thinking about it, and I couldn't think about it. And she said, Let's see. Shed a tear in your eyes. Uh, oh, but I know that there's a lot of good singers out there, and I can say that I could improve in my voice, but I was told I have a very distinctive voice that they can recognize, which is good. And it's good to have a distinction of your own. That way you can brand yourself and not have to copy someone else. We all start off looking at how someone else does their music. Everybody wanted to pride themselves off of the Queen of Soul music and use her style. But she's gone now, and a lot of people will probably be getting her royalty for your music if it's over 75 years and redoing it and making money off of it. So a lot of people don't know you can still make money off of music by doing the music, and if it's royalty free, you can then begin to perform that music. And I know with the Queen of Soul being over 75, she probably has some royalty free music. But one of the things I wanted to tell you is that being humble is the key, because you got to be a complete package. And you got to be able to be kind to people. They got to genuinely see the love in you and the patience in you. And then they will just about, the audience has to feed back to you and give back to you as you perform. You don't want to perform to a hard, rugged piece of brick. You want something that's going to give back to you as you perform, so that you are able to sing easily and freely and the music just flows. But if it's very difficult for you to get through and penetrate to the people, then it will be awfully tiresome for you all night, because you're not getting anything back from the audience. And when you're on stage, you got to be able to have a little dance. You do a little dance along with your music. A lot of people just stand there. And I'm a dancer, so I love dancing. And one of the things that I enjoyed doing was going in the audience to touch the people, shake their hand, and greet them. And they love that. They love being connected. And a lot of people come there because they're out of touch and want to be connected and bonded to people. And that's their chance to be able to embrace people. So don't take that opportunity away by staying away from the people. Go out in the audience and let the people know you're extending a handshake. Like Tremaine Hawkins, one of her songs I used to sing. We're all in the same boat, brother and sister. We're all sailing down the same rough sea. But we can all make it home safely, so safely. But I gotta help you, yes I do. And you've gotta help me. Oh, there's so many people cold and hungry. They cry out, but we just can't see. There's gotta be a lot more loving and sharing, and a lot less living in fear. Oh, if we could all make it home safely, there's no wind or rain that can rise too high. We all came on different ships, but together we'll live or we'll die. 'Cause we're all in the same boat, brother and sister. We're all sailing down the same rough sea. But we can all make it home safely, so safely. Give me your hand. Why don't you bring peace to this land? 'Cause we all brothers and we're sisters. More loving and more sharing. 'Cause we're all brothers and we're sisters. So we're all in the same boat, brother and sisters. We're all sailing down the same rough sea. But we can make it back home safely, so safely, so safely. We can make it all home safely. So let's make it home safely tonight. And thank you so much for joining me for several hours and talking about allowing the gifts in you to be used and remembering that God gave us these gifts, but we have to put them to use, and making sure that we bless someone every day with a song. And utilizing these gifts will help perpetuate and perfect our gifts. I want to thank you for spending this time with me. And you've been listening to Maddie Harvey's Baby Sister. And this is Omi's Production Studio on YouTube. So I have to remember to announce that because our name has changed from Omi Inc. 7 to Omi's Production Studio online, and we also have our Oracle Divination Network with our blog chart, and we'll be back on there soon. So be able to listen out for us and go and follow the leader and become a follower. Thank you so much, and don't forget to hit that like button to let me know you like the shows, because I'm trying to monetize and get my shows up there. Thank you so much. Oh, double and Baba Booey to you, y'all. Peace.